Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to UX, and this is US military just dropped a devastating bunker buster on Iran. Yeah, this is latest news. Apparently, they dropped GBU 72. Yeah, alright, that's the small one, 5,000 pound one, not the MOP 57, which is different. I reacted to a video about GBU 76, the next upcoming bunker buster, which is insane. I think I'm gonna post it after this video. But yeah, I guess things are moving, right? Is it intensifying? I don't know. I guess we'll see, because yesterday we've seen how many sites that were stricken, right? A lot of explosions. So this time it's like GBU bombs were dropped. I'm guessing in a lot of bunkers that they put around islands, right? There are a lot, like you would think, like commonsensically, if they would make bunkers, they would make bunkers near Strait of Hormuz, near the islands, which they did. Obviously, that's the intel is. I guess they dropped it there. It's going to be interesting. Let's do this one.
Morning, everybody. It's June 12th, 2026, and this footage right here is showing something wild, something massive being dropped in Isfahan, Iran just yesterday. Underground missile storage facilities with massive ballistic missile stockpiles going bye-bye from a bunker buster bomb. That's a GBU 72, typically dropped from an F-15E. So today we're going to break down that operation, how that GBU 72 works, why it was the one that was called in from the bullpen, bring in the GBU 72, a 5,000 pound bunker buster bomb. That's the reports I'm finding online, and this footage right here is showing a massive explosion with secondary explosions. And a lot of times when a weapons storage facility is hit, especially one that's underground, where all
bunker buster would do this kind of explosion, isn't it supposed to penetrate inside? This is the one that they throw if they wanted to penetrate a layer or two. If it's like a building, if they want to like go deep inside the building, like in the mid floor or something, or if it's a basement, it's like second layer basement or something. But would it do this level of explosion? I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is the bomb that they use when they strict down all those clerics who are like deciding who's going to be the next, like supreme leader. They use this same bomb on the building.
All that pressure kind of gets blocked up. This is the greatest relief of all time. Just send in the GBU 72 if you feel a little bit backed up with your ballistic missiles, Iran. And that's exactly what this thing is doing. And this is a mountain south of Isfahan, and it lit up from the inside. This footage is now circulating all around the internet, and the mountain answered back. Basically, that chain reaction blast just keeps erupting long after the weapon has done what it does, with that 5,000 pound hardened penetrator going in and doing what it does, hunting Iran's ballistic missile arsenal at this point. But Tehran is obviously going to scream very loud, and here's what Tehran is saying back, even though President Trump just posted yesterday on Truth Social that it looks like a deal is imminent to end the war. Tehran is saying wrong strategies and impulsive decisions will reset the entire board for the worse, and you will see a different Iran. It's like you will see a different General Salami. This time, General Salami will have Colonel Mustard and Captain Caper with him, and they will be a very delicious addition to our arsenal, except for our ballistic missiles. We really don't have many of those left. But the IRGC Navy also declared that the Strait of Hormuz is closed.
Come on, man, what deal? This is one of those Trump things where he just says things like this for political reason. But come on, after this level of bombing, there is no deal anytime soon. Not now, right? Especially the way Iran is talking. No, it's not going to happen.
To all vessels again, and any passage would be targeted. And then hours after saying that, Iran fired on a tanker in the dark. 2 Iranian attack drones went into the water. The U.S. Navy and the U.S. Air Force, working together, made sure that these drones had no ability to hit the tanker. And the tanker kept sailing, with hundreds of ships now making the transit through safe corridors in the Strait of Hormuz. Even though Iran doesn't want to admit that, the U.S. blockade is in full force. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth confirming that, CENTCOM confirming that, with these tankers making that journey and keeping the flow of commerce going in the Strait of Hormuz. Even though Iran doesn't want the rest of the world to think that. Iran's like, yeah, we're definitely winning, while they have fast attack craft and drones sitting at the bottom of the ocean. Reminds me of that meme with President Arakchi from Iran, and he's sitting at the bottom of the ocean with his little fast attack boats, and he's like, we haven't even begun yet. You haven't even seen anything yet. But President Trump just posted this on Truth Social a few hours ago. He said the terms that Iran leaked out to the fake news have nothing to do with the terms that were agreed to in writing. What they said, including their weak and pathetic statement on having a deal, bears no relation to the truth. Very dishonorable people to deal with. With them, there is no such thing as dealing in good faith. Amazing. Also, their totally rebuffed drone attack last night that we just talked about against Indian ships leaving the Hormuz Strait is totally unacceptable. They better get their act together and fast. President Donald J. Trump. So obviously, there's going to be aspects.
Indian Navy, what the fuck are you doing? Iran is supposedly keeps saying we are friend of India, while India says neutral. And they're point blank, yeah, we're gonna attack Indian ships. I'm not saying join the war. There is no joining the war. But India has to answer with something. You don't just attack drones on cargo ships. India does have a navy. Use it. India is very close to Iran. They can use more than just navy if they need to. What are you doing? Again, they try to attack Indian ships again. You attack American ships, that makes sense. You attack ally of America, that also makes sense. But you're going to attack India? Well, you cause, oh, we're the 5,000 years old friend, this and that. Last time they tried to smooth over with all this shit. What are they going to say now?
Of the corporate media that are going to try to smear this administration and honestly smear the military. We've seen them do that for the last few months, but it's clear to me with the step up from CENTCOM in the blockade, striking down these Iranian drones, that the U.S. military is no longer allowing Iran to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. And I know there's aspects of the corporate media that will never mention that, but that's why we have these little chats, isn't it? But yesterday on the table after the bunker buster strikes. The bunker buster strikes went in and dealt that blow to the Iranian ballistic missile program. And then 5 hours later, President Trump said the strikes were canceled and a deal was approved at the highest level of Iranian leadership, and it would be signed this weekend. And then aspects of the Iranian leadership said that nothing is signed, but they have so many fractures in their leadership. At this point, there's going to be fractures that disagree. They're probably like, wait, did you make a deal with Trump? Wait, did you sign a deal with Trump? And they're like, no, I didn't sign any deal. Meanwhile, they're all trying to sign deals to get a way out of this conflict so that they actually survive. Now let's pop to Isfahan, Iran, and let's look and let's try to find what area could have been struck with that GBU-72 bunker buster bomb.
Hey everybody, welcome to the imagery review section. We'll be looking at some of the bunkers that could have been targeted by that GBU-72. So let's just dive right in. I'm here in beautiful Arizona.
Why using that wire? The big one is supposed to be better, right? I guess because he's traveling, but this one is better for the audio quality. But yeah, this is not this mic, but it's other one. I guess it's more portable. I don't know, because this mic doesn't even have this. This is like more portable version of it. The bigger mics like this doesn't usually have anything but this wire. So yeah, I guess he uses this type of mic in his studio, and when he travels, he uses this.
Arizona. So shout out to all those that are in Arizona watching this. Really appreciate you guys. Arizona is amazing. I'm loving the sunshine. All right, so here we are at this point looking at these different bunkers. You can see just how buried they are, how deep they are into some of these mountains. And I'll give you guys a little zoom out so I can show you where we are. So as we zoom out, this is Isfahan, Iran, one of the areas that has been hit by GBU-57 bunker buster bombs. And now reports are saying the GBU-72 used just a day ago. Persian Gulf is down here. That kind of gives you guys a idea of where we're at. And as we zoom in, check out what I found with the help of Derek. Derek was a huge help, our imagery guy, helping us find this. But this is a missile city, an underground missile city on the outskirts of Isfahan. So let's just have a little peek here, show you guys kind of what the tactics and strategies are. So you can see missile city under construction. So we're kind of seeing, how they're going to build the different warehouses how they're going to build the different areas that house these ballistic missiles deep inside.
Come on to Iran, the amenities, the casinos, for the ammunition. It's a missile city, not for people. Screw you, for our missiles. What? They're creating the whole warehouse. It's a city where they can warehouse. Okay. This is some next level thing, man. All right.
The mountain, missile city under construction. So rebuilding different missile cities. So was this what was hit? Basically building a little pool inside their new missile city. Here, Iran, hold this GBU-72. Hold this, my dude, and let's build you a little pool inside your missile city. Bunker entrance right here. Let's just go ahead and have a look at what this would look like. Yeah, we're just out hiking in Isfahan, and we just happened to stumble upon this bunker entrance. But you can see how hardened it is at the top, and this is what Iran focuses on: blending in these missile bunkers in austere locations where you wouldn't expect to find it. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to reconstitute as many of these bunkers as possible, and also build fake ones. And they're going to build fake ones as well to try to get the U.S. to waste those expensive GBU-72 bunker buster bombs. So again, intel is huge, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. But seeing all the different entrances just shows you they want multiple options. So getting those missiles deep into the mountain and then wheeling them out, launching them, and then getting them back inside, deep inside the mountain is their goal. That's their whole focus, have multiple points of exit. Again, we're seeing the strategies of Iran being picked apart real time, and the GBU-72 happens to be the bouncer at the biggest explosion party on Earth over the last few days.
Stay for the global roundup section. We're going to cover a couple things that you're going to want to hear. That'll be 3/4 of the way.
Video's over. How the hell that happened? No, it's half.
Through the video, because remember, we got to cover some other things besides Iran so that we stay updated on what's going on around the world. So we kind of have the biggest peace agreement statements of the war right now, but there's factions inside Iran saying that nothing was signed. So it's kind of like Trump canceled the next strike package 5 hours after announcing it. And Iran's air defense crews are like, wait, we can actually sleep tonight? They're basically the people in this war that aren't getting any sleep at all. How did the U.S. crack into that mountain? Let's talk about that strike and whether we'll see more of that or not, depending on if a deal is made. So here's the tactical problem that no one anywhere else is talking about. Iran's missile war reserves are all around Isfahan, and it doesn't sit on a ramp outside waiting to be hit by...
Those are some damn big bunkers though, right? Look at the size of it. That car going through it just gave me the idea of scale. That's like, it takes time to like build those bunkers. I mean, obviously they had decades to do that, but still.
A regular JDAM. It sits inside likely the Safeh mountain complex. Safeh, Safa, tomato, you know what I'm trying to say. The heart of Iran's largest missile assembly and production ecosystem lives right there in this area where we saw the GBU-72 hit under rock, reinforced concrete, engineered across 4 decades, specifically to try to survive everything that a conventional weapons campaign would throw at it. But enter the GBU-72, one of the most capable penetrator bombs. This is new in the U.S. military inventory. And here's one of the most amazing features of this thing. So weaponeering is a big part of being a fighter pilot and a fighter weapons systems officer in the F-15E, where you have to know exactly how these bombs work. The thing I love about the GBU-72 is versatility. So the fact is you can make it a GPS-only bomb. In your jet, you can program pre-planned coordinates so that you can roll out, hit that pickle button, that's that big red button that can sense the bomb release, and have that thing fly off as a GPS weapon. Or you can have the WISO, the weapon systems officer in the back, actually lays it in and update the GPS coordinates real time. So if the laser loses track, if something happens with the sniper pod, or you need to maneuver aggressively because of a surface-to-air missile, it just guides to the last known point of where that laser is, and it uses that as its new GPS coordinates. Now, this is a Gucci weapon on every level if I've ever seen one. So we know that the complexes in this area have eaten close to 20 separate bunker buster strikes from B-2s, B-52s, other F-15E strikes across this war, but there's reports that missiles have still been rising out of those same mountains the next morning, even after these strikes. Why is that happening? Well, their missile complexes are buried extremely deep. So we see the entrances that we just looked at earlier, but then these things go way deep into the mountains where they actually store these and then pull them out. So you need something even deeper to go in, and that's why the GBU-72 is there. And when it comes to warfare, you have to be able to adapt and assess as the enemy adapts. Well, the enemy always adapts, and this is the exact thing I talk about in the book that I'm releasing here in the next few months. You can pre-order it right now. It's at mabbook.com. But I talk about the military strategies that we're seeing play out right now, using different weapons, using different tactics, using leverage to negotiate and get a better deal. These are the exact same things I talk about in my book, The Art of Modern War. And if you go right now, you can grab a copy of it for 10% off for a limited time. I wanted to use strategies from modern warfare and use them to help you in your life, in your business, in your personal life, whatever it is that you're up to. This book will help you accomplish it by using the exact strategies that we're seeing play out on the battlefield. So pop over to mabbook.com, grab a copy. You'll be glad that you did, and I'd really appreciate the support. So over the last few days, we've seen night one being striking more radars, communication sites. Night two moved into communications, command and control, the nervous system, and then the ballistic missile production facility. So what we're probably seeing is the Pentagon is realizing that, yeah, Iran is going to come to the table at some point. Sounds like there's the biggest chance right now of a deal being done, but at some point, little...
Well, he says recent strike on Iran, so that is the real video, right? I saw that in the yesterday's video as well. Somebody told me in the comments that it could have been a stock footage. I mean, Max doesn't usually show stock footage like that. He usually put real footage if there is any, or he doesn't. So I'm guessing this is real, right? This real, footage of the strike that happened recently. Because that's insane. Even if this is stock footage, I've never seen this in a lot of videos. So it has to be the recent one.
Factions inside of Iran could decide, no, we want to be spicy, we want to spice things up and want to launch more ballistic missiles. So if we strike their ballistic missiles, any chance we get with these GBU-72 advanced penetrator weapons, the 5,000-pound bombs, precision-guided, deep burial defeat weapon designed for exactly one job: punch through that rock and concrete, survive the trip all the way through that rock and concrete, and detonate where the enemy thought physics protected them. So there's a delayed fuse that survives all the way through the concrete, and then it detonates. So we know this thing made its combat debut early on over the last few months during Operation Epic Fury, but now it's being unleashed again. It was originally dropped along the coast around the Strait of Hormuz to take down underground storage facilities, likely for drones and other ballistic missiles and anti-ship missiles that they're hiding under the ground along the coastline. So it was perfect for that. And now it's perfect for this strike that we just saw yesterday as well. From a Strike Eagle from the F-15E, the doctrine basically writes itself. The F-15E is a GBU-72 monster. It's a behemoth for delivering this platform. And the ability of it to be so versatile, because you can frag a two-ship of Strike Eagles that are already right there in the theater. They don't need to fly a B-1 all the way from Diego Garcia to get bunker busters on target. And that's the versatility of the F-15E, being able to carry that 5,000 bomb. It's just a 30, 45, 1 hour flight, and it gets there, it gets bombs on targets, and it takes care of those ballistic missile facilities like that. Basically, the Strike Eagle with the GBU-72 goes in and out, satisfies in all the right spots, especially those deep spots, and gets out before anybody knew you were there. So I've weaponeered this weapon multiple times, and I've seen the damage.
So obviously this was... Why couldn't you use like a B-52 or something? This has to be like B-52 doesn't have the base to put bombs there. I guess that makes sense. This is why F-15E is basically your Swiss knife of bombs, I guess. You can just use it. You can do many things and you just use it. That's why F-15 was used a lot during the, original strikes a few months ago. And they're doing it again. So right now they paused, I guess. Trump says deal is close. But maybe Iran said, no, deal is not close, and they'll go back bombing again. Meanwhile, I guess in between, bunker busters are being dropped. Like, I like how, I don't like, I like how weird it is that we are living in a time where so many strikes is happening, that bunker buster being dropped in, and that it feels like a middle ground. Like, yeah, that's not the same as before. Otherwise, in any other time, bunker buster dropping is like, oh my god, bunker buster drop. Right now, it's like, yeah, it's in between thing. There you go.
Damage that it can do. The software basically shows you the way that this bomb goes in and then detonates in exactly the right spot. So it's kind of like Iran spent 40 years building a city under a mountain, and the GBU-72 just helped them make a large pool around the outside. So what Tehran is still bringing to the fight is something that's relatively important, right? Know your enemy, know yourself. We all know our boy Sun Tzu. That guy has crushed it for thousands of years, but Iran is still launching those ballistic missiles, so they have to be struck. Because remember, that's their whole...
I think Don Tzu, only thing that he's taken is like, just confuse your enemy and confuse your own people and yourself. So that's why he's constantly like put out things like, oh, deal is close, even though he knows deal is not close. So Iran has to like respond now. Everybody else in America is like, wait a minute, deal is close. Everybody in Europe is like, wait a minute, maybe deal is close. Even though Trump knows deal is not close. Iran also knows deal is not close, but everybody's like confused. And that somehow works. It's been working for past multiple months. It does confuse Iran. It does confuse everyone. And Iran has to put out statements just to make sure like everybody knows, no, deal is not closed.
Strategy at this point. Iran wants to launch ballistic missiles, cause as much pain as possible, and they think that's going to get them a better deal. And that brings us to the global roundup, my friends. You guys got to hear this. The Senate Armed Services Committee greenlit a bill for a robotics and autonomous systems combatant command. That means a full 4-star command, same rank tier as the CENTCOM commander, dedicated to drones, autonomous weapons, all the different things we're seeing play out on the battlefield right now. So that means that AI and these advanced weapons are going to become even more prominent on the battlefield. I mean, we just saw a drone boat rescue that Apache crew, so I think more and more things like that are going to happen. You made it to the 40 chess strategic analysis section.
This is not gonna happen. I think this is happening. US is one of those military who doesn't tell people anything until they have to tell them. Wait a minute, you just used a drone boat to rescue people. America's like, fine, I guess we'll tell you now. Yeah, we've been doing this whole another thing, entire operation that is dedicated to drones. We're like, you just started this? And America's like, yeah, we just started this.
My friend. So what does Iran actually want? Well, at this point, they want to get as much money as they possibly can to rebuild any infrastructure that has been damaged. They want to rebuild all these bunkers. They want to keep ballistic missile stockpile numbers out of any agreement. That's their whole goal. Because Iran sees the red line in the sand that the US really wants that uranium. So whether they give it up or not, or they give all of it up or not, that remains to be seen. But at this point, they want the money to rebuild their ballistic missile stockpile. But meanwhile, the US is dropping the GBU-72, eliminating the ballistic missile stockpile. Because remember, if Iran has 10,000, 15,000 ballistic missiles, then they can basically protect everything that they have. That includes a nuclear program, it includes a drone program, and potentially gives them the ability to have a stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz that is slowly being unlocked day by day by day, with hundreds of ships now transiting in the Strait of Hormuz, and that really scares Iran. So these ballistic missiles are something that they think will keep their fiefdom intact. What do you think happens from here? Let me know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Right now, I don't know what happens, because I think we are literally in the middle of things. Will things slow down, or just strikes are just going to keep increasing like it did a few months ago, right? Because we did see the strikes happening just a day or so ago, how apocalyptic that was. Too many sites were stricken. That's what America does. And right now, GBU bombs are being used. MOP might be introduced again if talks doesn't happen fast. And to me, it feels like I don't see talks happening the way Iran is talking. I guess things are going to extend. I don't know what's going to happen, man. They used to hoping deal might reach soon. Who knows? Maybe this was enough. Maybe this is like Iran, like, okay, you know what, let's make a deal. Maybe that will happen. Who knows? It's going to be interesting. All right, well, there you go. If you like my channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.